Good evening, dear Sangha. Thank you for joining us once again for our bi-weekly guided meditation and Dharma talk here at the Blue Lotus Meditation and Mindfulness Center here in central Minnesota. Thank you for spending some of your time. I know your time is precious. So that's why we try to do these on nurturing times, right? Where we can all get together and learn the Dharma and do a guided meditation and just practice together, remembering that the jewel of the Dharma is the Sangha, our communities, and that's where we get to strengthen our mindfulness practice. So welcome and thank you once again. Today is February 5th, 2024. It is now 6 p.m. here in Central Time Zone, excuse me, where we are located. And just a few announcements before we begin our guided meditation and Dharma talk as well. Our Dharma Institute, we have restarted we have updated our mindfulness and meditation teacher training. So now it's an asynchronous learning opportunity. And so it's still 5 months. The prerequisites and the course material has not changed. We've just altered the format a little bit so that it's a little bit easier for adults to attend, or youth to attend as well. It's not just for adults, for those who want to attend to take this course, so that they may help strengthen their practice and help their communities and the world. The mind of the bodhicitta, right? Helping the world as well. We've also, if you haven't subscribed to our newsletter or perhaps seen some of our social media posts, we also have, began last month, the Young Lotus youth groups. And these are perfect for the ages of 6th to 12th grade, where they can be instrumental in teaching their peers mindfulness and meditation and the Dharma as well. Perhaps you can do it at your school or at a community center or at a home or another location. But it's a wonderful opportunity for our youth to get involved in this so very important practice of mindfulness and meditation for our world today. Very important. And so this is a wonderful opportunity. Reach out to us. Let us know if you have, if that's something that you may be interested in starting at your school. Then as our weekly sanghas, right? Our healing sanghas, on our veteran sanghas, new beginning sanghas, and rainbow and welcoming and teen sanghas as well. Those are all throughout the week. Those are just register, right? Just register and come sit with us and share and learn mindfulness and the Dharma together. It's a great way. And then we are a 501c3 Buddhist organization. And so we do warmly accept donations to help you earn merit and help promote the Dharma as well to the communities. And so we're able to help ease suffering as well. So more than welcome to as well. So why don't we begin with the 3 jewels, as we like to follow a nice set of standards to follow. So our 3 jewels. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. Sathu, 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 Sathu. Wonderful. Thank you. So tonight's topic is cultivating and nurturing joy in our daily lives. And very often that is hard for many people to just accept and to practice. Our lives just become so busy and oftentimes just monotonous, right? Or we feel that they're monotonous. We feel that maybe we're on autopilot and we don't take the really important step to realize that every moment is precious, right? And so when we are able to bring awareness to that moment, we're able to experience joy in a really profound way, and in a way that's often overlooked. And so um, let's begin by taking a moment to settle our bodies in a comfortable position. You may close your eyes or keep them slightly open with a soft focus, looking downward a few feet in front of you. Breathe in. Pause. And breathe out. You're invited to allow that half smile to rest on your face as well. Allow your spine to lift and your shoulders to soften. And soften your belly as you continue settling in. Breathe in. Pause. And breathe out. And let's meditate on joyful awareness. We often go about our day not realizing how precious each waking moment truly is. And as a result, we only bring awareness to the moments of extreme emotions, both happy and sad. And this meditation will help you to cherish each precious moment as a unique opportunity for happiness within. And as you sit here, right now, bring kind attention to your breath. Noticing any sensations that accompany each in-breath and each out-breath. Notice the rise and fall of your chest with each in-breath and each out-breath. The cycle of breathing in, although done autonomously, can bring about a sense of joy. Only living beings have this capability. Breathe in. Pause. and breathe out. Now, recall an instance sometime in your day when you talked with someone. No matter how long or how brief it was, and no matter the content. Communicating ideas, thoughts, and feelings are not easily accomplished, and certainly not by all living beings. The ability to communicate can certainly bring about a sense of joy. Breathe in. Pause. And breathe out. Now, go ahead and recall a time today when you ate something. Was it something that you brought from home? Or is it something that you purchased on your lunch break? Was it delicious? Or perhaps not so much? The ability to discern between food that is delicious or not so delicious is truly something to be joyful of. Go ahead and take the next few moments to recall any other moments from today that you might have overlooked and bring about a sense of joyful awareness from that time. And see how that moment applies to now and to future moments as opportunities to bring about joyful awareness. Go ahead and begin to open your eyes slowly and reorientating yourselves to your surroundings before you move about. All right, very nice. I enjoy lemon water. Sometimes hot, right? Boil the water and get some lemon juice in there, or sometimes just cold or perhaps room temperature. That citrusy taste that the lemon just brings about right on our taste buds is always it's just a burst of a flavor. And so that's certainly one of those sharp tastes that we are aware of, right? But there can be so many more in life, right? Just like in that guided meditation, so many there are so many opportunities to bring joyful awareness in all that we do. And we certainly mentioned, delicious or not delicious food or communication, right? Communicating with someone else and being aware of our breath, right? That's certainly joyful, right? Even though we don't think about it, right? Our automatic nervous system takes care of that for us, but we know that if we are short of breath, that can be frightening sometimes, right? Or whatnot. But we learn how to bring joyful awareness to our breath. And this way that we are appreciative of each moment that we have. And so where do we find joy? How do we find joy in life? Right? Could be drinking lemon water. That could be certainly one component. But before we even think about where we find joy, we first need to allow and make room for joy in our lives. That may sound simple, right? We all want to experience joyfulness. But truthfully, many of us do not allow ourselves to feel joy, right? Many of us don't allow that nurturing feeling, that rewarding feeling in our lives. And that makes our lives very difficult if we don't allow joy to be present, to nurture, to grow, to blossom. Sometimes we don't allow ourselves to feel joy because we may have feelings of guilt. I am experiencing joy while someone is not. Maybe they are having moments of suffering. But what's important to remember is that there will be times where you are experiencing moments of suffering and someone else would be feeling and experiencing moments of joy. It goes back and forth. So in order for us to make room or to allow for joy, right, we have to let go of feelings of guilt or shame of feeling joy. And that's hard. That can be hard for some, especially if we have children, right? Sometimes those feelings of guilt bring about themselves even more, like I should be working harder, right? So my children have all that they need. But that doesn't teach our children how to have joy when they're adults, right? Because, or maybe we even feel that we should be doing something more productive. If I'm feeling joy, I'm not working hard enough. But joy can be a reward for working hard enough. Right? Our lives aren't meant to be worked all the time. Right? And we may find joy in work. Right? We may find joy in our careers. But we need to find joy in other places as well, because we all have someone else in our lives that, that need our own nurturing. So some common situations of where you may open up to allow joy in your lives. Perhaps you have a hobby, simple as it sounds, or allow yourself to have a hobby is important to consider. Maybe you have always wanted to try painting. Doesn't matter if you're any good at it, right? Doesn't matter if you're any good at it. But think about the joy that you can get from painting. Doesn't even have to be the paint. Doesn't even have to be the final product. It could just be the feeling of opening up a tube of paint and smelling what it smells like. There can be joy in that. It could be the joy of just the brush on the canvas. There's joy in that. Doesn't matter what the object is that you're trying to paint. There's just joy in the motion. Joy in the motion, not even the accomplishment, because the accomplishment is the motion. Perhaps you like gardening, right? Maybe going out there and feeling that rich soil, that rich earth in your hands, watching the seedlings grow and maturing and being able to produce some type of fruit or vegetable. There's joy in that. And that takes time. Beans don't grow overnight, and apple trees certainly don't start producing apples, anytime soon. And cooking and baking, feeling the flour in your hand and measuring, the necessary ingredients, the preparation of the pans and the cutting of the food or the final product and serving it, whether it's just to yourselves, to a significant other, to your family, or perhaps even a large potluck at your job. There can be joy in all of those situations. The smell of the aroma, even if it's burnt. Suppose you burnt it, right? You have the ability to smell. Not a lot of people do. And so there's joy in just the ability to even smell. But certainly seeing someone enjoy the fruits of your labor, right? Perhaps you garden and bake, right? Maybe you make your own tomatoes and you make your own spaghetti sauce or whatever. That's two hobbies together, working together, where you allow yourself to have joy. Remember, allowing ourselves those feelings is very important. Some uncommon situations where we may really try to allow joy to come in. And one of the first thoughts that came to my mind was waiting. Right? Whether you're waiting in line, right? You're at the grocery store and maybe there's a long line, or perhaps you are waiting for a response from an email, right? Or perhaps you sent a voicemail to someone. Communication was important. Remember the guided meditation, we talked about the joyfulness of communication. We're sharing thoughts and ideas and hopes and dreams, or whatever it is that you felt pertinent enough to share with someone else. So waiting, we can find joy in that, because perhaps the other person is reading or listening to your message and thinking about an appropriate response to give back to you. And that's caring. We often don't think about that. When somebody responds to us, right, a thoughtful response, it's showing that they care, just like you took the time to construct however message, that you decided to send, whether it's an email or a voicemail. Perhaps it's just a simple birthday card. So sometimes just waiting, we can find that joy in that anticipation, right? Even though anticipation is living in the future, not in the present moment, but we can still reflect upon, wow, this card is really going to make someone's day. There's joy in that, right? There's joy in that. And doctor's appointments, right? Sometimes waiting in the doctor's office, right? Sometimes that can seem like it takes a long time. But if we think about it, think about what that doctor is doing. You're not the only one who needs help. Doesn't matter what your condition or why you're there to see the doctor. Someone was there before you and they needed help as well. And so that person is receiving appropriate care, just like when you will, when it's your turn to see the doctor, you will receive that necessary and appropriate care. So there can be joy in that. We may become so impatient that, oh, when is this doctor going to hurry up? I've been waiting 20 minutes or however long it is. But think about that. That doctor is spending time with someone else. They're going to be spending time with you as well to make sure that you get the necessary care. So letting go of impatience and looking at that time spent and how it could be spent for you. There can be joy in that. I'd be kind of worried if I were in and out of a doctor's office in 15 minutes, going in, showing up and going out, getting out. Maybe they're not listening to you. Maybe they're not listening to someone else. So waiting is not necessarily, it's not a bad thing, right? It's not bad. Everybody gets the care that they need. Sometimes in our careers or our jobs, we get critiqued, right? Can there be joy in getting a critique or a performance review? Think about that. Think about what your supervisor or manager, they had to take up their time, right? Even though it's a part of their job, right? They had to sincerely reflect on maybe there are pathways or opportunities for you to grow. Maybe they're writing up nice things too, like, you did a wonderful job on this project for the group. Sometimes we get nervous, right? Waiting for a performance review, but there can be joy in that waiting too. You know what you've done during that review period. So hopefully it's not a surprise. I've had one that was an absolute surprise. Or maybe there's a school assignment for our youth out here listening to this talk. Maybe there's a school assignment and the teacher, your instructor, perhaps your oncology or a professor gives you a critique. That's an opportunity to grow. We often think that critiquing in those regards is a reflection of us. And it may be to some degree because it's just showing us an opportunity for growth. Right? So it's shedding that ego-centered part of, oh, they're attacking me. Right? Dropping that ego of I'm being attacked and cracking open that shell so you can grow. Right? Or perhaps an athletic coach is giving you critique. Whether you play sports or swim or whatnot, whatever your athletic activity is, your coach wants you to be the best. Right? Your coach wants you to be the best that you can be. So we don't often find opportunities for joyfulness in being critiqued. But oftentimes, if we just remove that shell of ego from those particular moments, we can find out that they are actually opportunities for us to grow in that sunshine in those areas. Another opportunity where we don't often necessarily think about it as a positive is a rejection. Right? Again, we take that personally sometimes, like I was rejected, meaning that I'm not good enough. And that may be true. And that actually may be to your benefit. Right? That may be to your benefit. If you have a degree in engineering, probably would not be too good in the medical field, right? Even though you have a master's or a PhD or a doctorate of engineering, may not be the best suit at that particular time. But a job offer just simply means that maybe this company wasn't right for you for whatever reason. And that's okay. And that's okay. Or perhaps a date or person that you are interested in. Perhaps they reject you, but that's okay too. Because in a relationship such as, a personal relationship along those lines, it is between two people, and two people need to be happy with one another. There has to be some commonalities that nurture wholesomeness and love, right, that go well beyond the physical, right? That go well beyond the physical. And if it's not felt by both, maybe that rejection is actually a good thing, because that could just lead to future suffering, which is what we are really trying to avoid in life as best as we can. It's going to happen. Even loving couples, they have their moments too. So how do we cultivate? What are some steps? And of cultivating joy? Well, right mindfulness. Easy as that, right? When we have that right mindfulness of that present moment, right? Being in that one singular moment, right, allows us to experience joy and cultivating joy, because we know that moment will not happen again, no matter how stressful or how emotionally charged that moment is. It's never going to happen again in that same way. So right mindfulness allows us to appreciate that moment and be joyful, even in those moments of strife or agitation. And so some other ways that we can nurture that joy, though, or maybe it's a touch, right? That's sensory, right? Feeling something soft, holding a hand, offering comfort to someone by holding hands. Certainly a way to support and cultivate joy. Taste, right? Or taste and smell, right? Especially with food, right? Or maybe a perfume or cologne that someone is wearing. Maybe that brings about a good sense of smell as well, right? And what we see, is it pleasant or unpleasant? Seeing people happy and smiling certainly brings about joyfulness inside us. Seeing people sad in locations of devastation and conflict certainly makes us sad as well. So understanding that we can cultivate joy even through our emotions, right? By allowing joy to just be present, not shunning it, not allowing ourselves to feel guilty for feeling joy, as long as it's not hurting someone else or it's at their expense, right? Trying to unify people, not divide. And so joyfulness should always be a uniting experience. And certainly meditation allows us to cultivate joy, right? Allows us to focus on, a singular thought, singular experience. And it takes time. Certainly, many of our practitioners are new and they have what is called monkey mind, thoughts going all over the place. And that's okay. That's okay to be like that. Given time, you're able to focus your thoughts, right, more succinctly. It's not that a stray thought is not going to come here and there. We're not trying to control thoughts like, I can't think of this, I have to only think of that. Just allowing that thought to, okay, here it is. It stayed for a little bit and then go. And then resuming back on whatever it is that we are meditating on at that time. So meditation allows us to sincerely cultivate joy within ourselves. Would like to just again take this opportunity to thank you all for our dear Sangha for joining us tonight for our bi-weekly meditation and Dharma talk. Do let us know your thoughts or anything that you would love to add. Love responding to comments, and I love reading everything that you all write and submit. It's wonderful. Our community is developing and getting stronger each and every day. So you are warmly welcome to just put in your comments or thoughts below. Our next talk is on February 19th. Right, so in 2 weeks, 6 p.m. in the Central Time Zone, if it's an appropriate time for you. Otherwise, it'll just be on the replay, and you can always watch and comment there. We'll end with our 3 jewels as well. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. Sathu, Sathu, Sathu. Thank you so much for joining us this wonderful evening. And we will see you in 2 weeks. Take care, my friends.